The Pistons are the basketball champions of the world.
Detroit, it's time. It's playoff time, Detroit. Let's go to work.
Shout out Detroit. I got to buff up, you know what I'm saying? Detroit, I'm all the way in. Detroit Pistons, I'm all the way in. Let's do it.
What's up, Pistons fans? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Buffs On podcast. Finally, we've got content, guys. The NBA draft has passed, and a major NBA trade has happened for the Pistons. Maybe two, you could argue. We're still in our coaching search, but I feel like there's only really one place to start here. Me, Gabe, and Coni are in today. Guys, the Pistons pick Ron Holland Jr., the 6'8" wing, 18 years old from the G League Ignite. Freakish athlete, looks like a great defender and one heck of a slasher. We've all heard the question marks around his jump shot and perhaps the future build around our team, but one thing we know for sure is we got a hell of a player and we got a hell of an athlete on our team. Trajan Langdon always said he was going to take a swing at that number 5 pick, and he took a swing. He perhaps took the guy with the highest potential in this draft. I saw a lot of pessimism around this initially, but coming from that was for myself included. But I'm feeling a lot more optimistic about this now. I say we dive right into the draft pick at number 5. Should I swing it over to you, Coni? What are your initial reactions when we drafted Ron Holland Jr.?
Yeah, off rip, there's no chance that he's 6'8". I just see that guy in a basketball coach, he's probably like 6'6" something. That being said, I am all the way in. I've already placed a bet at plus 1,500 for Ron Holland to win Rookie of the Year.
Open class.
I mean, for the people that were like getting upset about this pick, and it's like, oh, we need shooters, oh, we need spacing for Kate. Who did you want to draft?
That's a good question. Because that was my thought process when I thought about that.
Like this,
Dalton. You take Dalton Connect,
but Dalton Connect dropped
18?
to 17 to the Lakers, so that obviously was not the value play. I think Ron Holland is as talented as anybody else in this class. His motor's absolutely insane. He's a speed demon.
He's a star.
He's
different.
Asar, I feel, is more of a go with the flow, find the cracks, make the connecting plays, get it where he can. Ron Holland to me seems like a hammer trying to drive a nail. Like, he's got the ball and he wants to go to the room. He's just gonna smash through a guy, and if he misses it, he's gonna be on that second bounce to get his rebound.
Do you like the Jaylen Brown comp? I've heard
Yeah,
that right.
because who couldn't shoot at all when they came in the league? Jaylen Brown couldn't shoot a lick. It was a real stretch at third. People were upset about it, and I think this is a play on just talent. Like, this guy's been the number one guy in his class for the longest, and it's a play on Fred Vincent, which we got a lot. He's got his work cut out for him with this team right now. But Gabe, you got anything?
Yeah, exactly. We talked about him last week about who's the most important player for him to fix his jumper. It might be Ron Holland because, like you said, this guy has the most potential, I think, in this whole draft class. Maybe aside from Alex Sarr, who on my board was the number 3 big, actually. So we'll get into the Rookie of the Year later. But anyway, yeah, Ron Holland, kind of like you said, Asar finds the cracks. Ron Holland makes the cracks.
Yeah,
like I said, his pickup when he drives, he takes a really nice like 2-step, NBA 3 steps to the rim, and he gets some good like length on those finishes. I do think I think he measured like what 6'7" barefoot at the combine. 6'6" 3/4, I think, at the combine without shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's
at 18 years old. I know personally, I grew over an inch since I was 18. Giannis grew like 2 or 3 inches since he came in the league.
Probably athletes, sure.
So,
honestly,
I mean, I'm just saying, this guy can easily grow another inch, and then we're gonna have a 6'9" wing in shoes. With a guy who potentially could be the next like Jaylen Brown level athlete, and then like that shot, like it doesn't look. That's for me. I think it was Giovanni on the Zach Lowe podcast. He said if you have a good looking jumper but it doesn't go in, it might just mean you're not a good shooter, which was for me Buzelis. And then opposite side you have Stefan Castle is the ugliest looking shot in the world. Holland is kind of in between that. and he shot 24%, was it?
Yeah.
Last year at the Ignite, which is NBA line. And
Yeah.
this kid went straight from high school to an NBA line. Anyone who has ever done that, actually shot from NBA range after playing like at college or at high school, you know how like far that seems, how much power you have to put in, which is why I think his like release was like a push shot almost and really low, but it wasn't broken. So I think with added strength and Fred Vincent, we're gonna get a decent shooting.
What was his free throw percentage last year?
He did shoot 76% from the line on it doesn't say the attempts.
It was a lot of
five
it was
attempts
a
per
lot
game.
of
Five
it.
because he gets downhill, he attacks the basket.
That's not bad. That's something to work with. Also with that G League night, I take everything with a grain of salt. Because do you guys watch any of those games? Some of the worst like organized basketball.
I already watched the Pistons.
Yeah. So, but it was awful. Like they
won
no
2 games, right?
2 games.
Yeah,
One game they lost by like 60 points.
Oh, sweet. He won't head won't go down.
Yeah, no. He knows how to lose, which is great. But something else about him, probably equally important as his offense is Asar and Ron Holland as a defensive duo in the wing could just cause hell for some ball handlers.
I think we got a potential really long-term wing pairing right here, and it's quite a scary one. Like both have the athletic feet in them. When you talk about Asar, he seems more like his game's not as smooth. I've been trying to explain to you guys, but I don't really know how to explain it. Like when you look at his shot, it's a set shot. He can't go off the dribble whatsoever, other than that weird fadeaway he makes sometimes. But Holland, like, looking at his clips, like he can get off the dribble. He can hit that shot. He attempted 3.6 threes a game. That's a large amount of attempts per game. And we look at other guys that come out of the G League, they've had a decent output for the most part. But yeah, really potential scary wing combination there. I don't think he'll start day one.
Oh no,
whatsoever. I'm not even sure Asar will with the Pistons most likely retaining Simone Fontecchio. I think he's more than earned that spot, Simone. But even like just thinking long term, like you could slot one of these guys down to the 2 playing next to Cade. Theoretically play like a Cade, Simone, Asar, Holland, Duren, very switchable defense, very athletic team that can get up and down. But I feel like we do have to acknowledge, like this isn't coming from nowhere, these concerns about the lack of shooting.
Oh yeah.
We've built 0 shooters around Cade Cunningham.
Like that lineup you just said has
no
one shooter.
Fred Vincent's gonna be, not sleeping, for the next 6 months. How serious are those concerns of the lack of shooting we have? Yes, we have free agency. Yes, we made a trade. We're probably going to bring in Simone Fontecchio. But how concerning is that lack of shooting to you, if at all?
Very.
We saw it last year.
And how do you feel? How do you think Cade feels?
Probably not stellar.
But I think, like you said, I think Cade is smart enough to see. I think of anyone who we could have gotten at 5, who would Cade have wanted?
Yeah,
he probably want this guy who wants to put in the work.
Right. Like this draft class is not going to be where we filled out the shooting. I thought they did a good job. Getting to Hardaway Jr. was a huge step. I thought.
Yeah, let's just break down that trade real quick so everyone knows.
So the Pistons traded Quentin Grimes to the Dallas Mavericks for Tim Hardaway Jr. and 3 future second-round picks.
One of which is next year.
This is
from the Toronto Raptors, which is probably going to be a pretty high pick.
This is a take on a bad contract to get some assets from the Mavs. I saw a lot of people upset about losing Quentin Grimes, who shot 14% from 3 with the Pistons last year. Now, I don't think he's in reality that bad. He was coming off a knee injury. But I think the reality is that Tim Hardaway Jr. is a better player than Quentin Grimes. He hit over 100 more threes than our highest 3-point hitter last year, which was Jaden Ivey.
Good stat. Yeah.
He shoots over 40% from the corners, which is huge for Cade. I think this is going to be sort of like a Alec Burks type, but a little. I think he's better.
I think he'll fit the play style more because he's less. He's more. I get the ball that's going up in the basket,
But he can also do a little bit of something.
Which the Mavericks fans very much did not
because
like.
They had Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, but we have Cade Cunningham and so I wouldn't be upset like at those little one dribble pull up mid rangers. He's going to hit a lot of threes. That is a real ball. I think he comes in as a starter.
I would, as of now, that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I think a big question mark will be, the development of
I take
Ivy.
that back. Yeah.
I see him more as like a microwave scorer off the bench, like
the Alec Burks.
exactly. I think he'll have a very similar role, but I do think his minutes will be increased. Just to go further in on the shooting that Tim Hardaway Jr. has proven throughout his career, and proven throughout his 3 years at Michigan as well. I'm sure he's happy to come back home to Michigan. But just talk through some records that Tim Hardaway holds. Most single NBA game 3-point shots, tied. Most single game 3-point shots for the Dallas Mavericks. Most 200 plus 3-point shot seasons for the Dallas Mavericks. 4. Most consecutive 200 plus 3-point seasons for the Dallas Mavericks. 2. And finally, most 3-point shots made for the Dallas Mavericks in a finals game. As he got hot, went 5 for 7 in garbage time one game, but a record's a record, But comes with some, comes as a pretty established shooter in this league. Sneaky athletic, but at the same time, he's 32 years old.
Yeah.
So just of like being around the game, I think that instantly makes him one of our better like connective passers, one of our better defenders, just because he's been around the game so much, and we're just such a young team. I think he's going to be a great helping hand in like just imagining a lineup of next to Cade of like Simone, him, and free agency Stu. We can finally spread that floor a little bit. I know we've been saying that, but this time we're not like sneaking Kevin Knox into that conversation or some other guy who's not in the NBA anymore.
Real quick, was this a dream? Do we have Plumlee on our team again?
That was a dream.
That was a dream.
Man, I love it though.
That's how you know. Gabe's having dreams about re-signing Mason Plumlee.
No, I thought we made a trade for him.
Gabe's fact checking right now.
Making sure. Maybe you had a premonition.
Is there anything else you guys want to touch on Ron Holland? The summer league does kick off for us very soon. I can pull up that schedule shortly, but anything else you guys want to say on Ron Holland?
The one thing is he also had his decision making was very bad, especially early in the year. He averaged more turnovers than assists. And again, I think that's a large part. They didn't have he was the point guard, which is a role that he doesn't play.
Who was the point guard
for that team? Yeah. So I mean, he has some. So like I think long term, like you mentioned that lineup where like Cade could probably play off ball long term a little bit with Ron Holland just like forcing stuff with his athleticism, like we saw Jaylen Brown do. But yeah, for me, that's more concerning than the shooting. Is to have 3.2 turnovers a game.
Yeah.
Which we don't need on this team.
That's a very good point. But are you gonna be expected to have any ball handling responsibilities? Because even Asar's taking some ball handling responsibilities. You have Ivy, you have Cade. I'm telling you, he's a great
snowball handling.
But he's a great passer. He's a good passer, though, which means he's more involved in that offense. But we have Cade, who last year was a heliocentric offense. We hope it won't be that again, but you still have Ivy. You still have Marcus Sasser. You're probably gonna add another guy in free agency.
Rookie year, I'm not expecting ball handling responsibility. Maybe like grab and go stuff, pump and drive stuff, but I don't think those turnover numbers would go down for him when he moves to the NBA if you're putting him in a big ball handling role again.
Well, the good thing is we're gonna get to see it pretty soon because Ron Holland will most definitely be playing in that summer league, number 5 for the Detroit Pistons, and the summer league kicks off on July 13th versus the Sixers. Who picked Jared McCain?
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll get to see Ron Holland in action, but another guy we'll get to see in action is Bobby Klintman, the big four from Sweden, who actually spent a year at Wake Forest before going to play in New Zealand, where he averaged almost 10 points a game, shot 36% from deep, 5 boards. Second round draft pick at 37.
And we did trade up basically to pick him.
We did trade up, but let me paint you a picture, guys. You remember when we traded up? I believe it was to 37 or 38, and picked a guy named Dervitas Servitas, who had a connection with Arn Tellem. Not to just be a disappointed guy here, but Bobby Klintman's agent is Arn Tellem's son. I was a little bit more excited about Bobby Klintman until I heard that, and it just reminds me of Servitas because who cares that we trade up? That just makes me a little bit more upset, honestly. But note that we did trade up we gave away our later second round pick and acquired Wendell Moore Jr., who more than likely won't be with the side. But Bobby Klintman is a Piston. He stands in at 6'9", 212. Just from he's a long guy. Doesn't really have that much.
What's his wingspan?
But
does it say?
I can find his wingspan.
I'll look it up.
All right, that'd be nice. But Yeah, big man. Big man is born in Sweden. Before coming to the States to play some college ball. He did all right at Wake Forest as well. I'll touch on that. He averaged 5 a game and shot 37%. So seems like a pretty decent 3-point shooter, which is all we really need. I'm excited to see him in some summer league action, but I don't know. I can't say I'm super pumped for this. You know, it hasn't been a second round pick I've really been excited for since I swear I called Bruce Brown was going to be a good player. Is there anything you guys really note on Bobby Clinton?
Just that like I didn't know that thing about Arn Tellum's son. It does not make me love what's going on here. Nepotism has always been a bit of an issue with the Pistons. Troy Weaver's son lost his job, by the way.
Stop.
I don't want to be too negative, but like from the tape that I've seen of him, I don't think he has NBA athleticism.
Yeah,
like he played in Australia. He didn't look like he was outdoing like those guys in Australia. That's not the most athletic league. He really struggles finishing around the rim, which he has for a while. But if he gets that 3-pointer like more down and becomes like a high 30s, low like even 40% guy, which I mean I don't expect, but he could be a shooter. He's big. He rebounds. Like he can use his size functionally on defense, but I don't have like crazy high hopes for this guy to do something.
Yeah, you're pretty informed in that second round.
Yeah. I wanted Kevin McCullough, who's coming off an injury, but he's an older wing who filled. I just wanted a big wing because that's kind of what you need in the NBA. He stands at 6'9" barefoot with a 6'11" wingspan, 8'11" standing reach. So he's a big guy, not crazy, not a crazy length guy, but just a big guy.
He looks like when I look at him, he looks.
I'm just reading his spin right here. It says he's really has potential to be a two-way contributor, and the defensive end is where he really shows some promise.
Yeah, he can't move very well, but he's a smart player, and you know, a big guy that can hit threes is always what if he becomes a little Jonas Jerebko type? Going back to that Sweden connection, who did welcome him to Detroit on Twitter.
Did he?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe we'll get Jonas in the building sometime.
I think JJ still lives in the area, if I'm not mistaken. And I heard one of the reasons is because the golf was so good where he lives.
But yeah, nothing crazy about that pick, but I do think it's good that it was a good trade to get that pick, just to take on some, was it like $2 million and move up 15 spots or whatever it was.
And on paper, it was a great trade. We'll see how it pans out. Again, we'll see him in the summer league. I would expect him to start, but you guys want what are your expectations for that summer league? Like, what do you think that 5 is going to be? I know we signed that one guy who weighs 160 pounds as a point guard.
Yeah.
Expect him to lead that
fourth-year player at college weighs 160.
That's all
6'2", 6'1".
But even if he's a fourth-year guy, then what? Are we gonna maybe go Marcus Sasser in the summer league?
I don't see Marcus Sasser. I don't see any of our core young guys playing.
Maybe
a star. Maybe a star as like the point guard. Maybe a star as the point guard.
So what's like realistically like? Who are you looking for that in that starting 5 in the summer league?
I think you can
point out
3 players.
Asar, Clintman.
Those are the 3 I care about.
And then there's probably going to be like whatever.
Some random pickups. Maybe some older vets that we pick up.
Buddy Boeheim. 28-year-old Buddy Boeheim. Summer league.
Let's get Taj Gibson out there.
And then a bunch of guys that I don't recognize or
it'd be pretty sick if we just ran like Jalen Duren or something.
Before we move on from the draft, do you guys have any early rookie of the year? Kind of know you said you put on some
Ron Holland.
I think he would win if he went to like Charlotte or the Wizards. I think he would have.
He's got as good a shot as anybody else. This class, I think he has the ability. He has a way to score. That's another thing. We have now. If we have the star and we have Ron Holland and JD can run. Last year we played slow and like heliocentric. I want this team to get out and run,
I never understood why that wasn't the focal point of our offense.
Well, because we couldn't stop anybody.
Okay, that's also another point. I to go back to Holland really quick, people are so concerned about the shooting. I mean, had the 29th worst defense in the NBA.
Yeah.
We're not in a position here to add offense, and we're one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and Holland should right away impact that. Yeah, I'd love to just see us run, you know. Like if I'm the coach, I'm saying, all right, guys, we're not better than these guys, but we can outwork them. And we're just gonna run as fast as we can. Especially with K getting on those boards live, like he could throw those outlet passes, you know.
I think pretty much everyone can. That's one of the potential strengths of this
Throw the
team
pass
is
or
anyone can grab and go.
We said
Anyone
this
can
last year,
exactly. We
too,
did.
yeah.
Any like it should hold true. Asar can pass. Ivy can pass. Duran can pass. And I saw a Reddit post. This is a little off topic, but Fred Vincent, what about the working with JD? Yeah, he's a smooth jumper already.
No thanks. I just reminds me too much of Andre Drummond watching his videos of shooting stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw that. They saw that video come out. Like, just step back down. Like, don't.
Yeah, and
don't
Drummond Steph
do it.
Curry in the
I
offseason.
mean, he obviously has better shooting touch than Andre Drummond does.
We've seen already, yeah.
But nah, man.
I wouldn't be surprised with that Bam Adebayo range.
Maybe like
No
every
way.
once in a
Face
while,
up.
you could space it out to like a corner three if the situation calls for and he finds himself there wide open.
They're at the peak
But
for
even
Gabe
like
little bit, yeah.
a
Yeah.
15 little foot midi, like a baseline jumper or something, that face up game and we get him in the elbow area. Like I don't mind. That's a Bam type shot.
shot.
What about when Bam shoots?
If it goes in, it's a good shot.
It goes in. Okay, he had some clunky misses.
Yeah.
Remember the start of last year though, when Durham was just popping some?
Yeah, and
He was hitting some.
I remember him throwing some up the backboard too.
Yeah.
But I don't know, a better shot for Duran is like rolling dunk or a dunker spot stand. Like, I don't know.
What about you? Rookie of the year?
I don't know. I wanted to say Alex Sarr, but like I don't think a guy from Washington or Charlotte is gonna win this thing. And that might be a bit like hypocritical being a Pistons fan. But like they're gonna suck.
I don't think Alex
The
Sarr is
Wizards
very
are gonna
good.
suck.
Alex Sarr is gonna be a bust.
Yeah.
Really?
man.
He can't catch the ball.
He can't catch the
roll.
ball.
He
And
can't finish
the
it
same
up.
thing when he's playing in Australia against like Australian big men, Australian like level defenders, and he's shooting like 48% around the rim as a 7'2" guy with athleticism and length. Like that's going up when he's trying to go up against like
He's also on Jordan Poole's team, so
yeah,
Yeah.
that's not helping.
For me, I have two front runners. One's Dalton Connect, who I think will start day one and have
Exactly.
LeBron
No
James
one
on
gets
his
the
team.
shots though.
Who else is going to shoot on that
rookie
team?
of the year.
LeBron.
Get out.
Yeah,
Of
but
here.
Low.
LeBron doesn't want to.
Anthony
Before you say your
Davis.
other obscure one, I'm gonna just take the obvious one. I'm gonna take Zachary Recichier. I think people are overlooking him. Number one pick for a reason. I think he's gonna be a lights out shooter. And should Trae Young stay on that team, he's gonna get a lot of opportunities on the kick out. Should Trae Young leave that team, he's gonna get a lot of opportunities because he'll probably be the best player on that team after that. In terms of scoring the basketball, but he'll be up there, so the opportunities will be there.
I think
But man, I could go Ron Holland, but I'm gonna go Recichier for rookie of the year.
Reza Shea.
Reza Shea.
Yeah.
Never been able to say his name.
Yeah, my other guy. You guys won't like this one.
Yeah, I already know.
I think it's the most dangerous two-man game in the league potentially on the pick and roll, which is John Morant and Zach Edey. Because he's gonna be the best screener in the NBA day one. And if you leave him for one, he's gonna hit his little hook shot. He's gonna hit his little standing dunk. There's nothing really you can do about it. I think he could easily average like 10 and 10 and a block a game as a rookie, which might in this class win you rookie of the year.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weak class, yeah. But even we were talking like, why wouldn't he start?
He will
I
start
think he's
day
more
one,
mobile
yeah.
than Steven Adams, especially coming off that injury, and they ran Steven Adams
Steven
for a
Adams
long
is
time.
Houston now too.
Yeah, also.
Yeah, I know, but they used Steven Adams for a long time, and
Exactly.
he was a
exact same
slow roll, like a slow guy.
Okay, but you can't disregard like NBA skill level.
But
like,
Zach
Steven
Edey
Adams
was
is
the most dominant player
significantly
we've seen
better
in 20 years
than
in college.
Zach Edey.
He's also 7'5", like 300 pounds.
Okay, but we say he's not mobile, and that's a concern you gotta have. I like he's gonna get targeted.
You know what else is that
Yeah,
John Morant
got
likes to
JJJ.
do, and where the Users get a lot of their points is running down the floor.
Yeah.
Fast breaks. Like they're not a
Yeah,
half,
Zach Edey doesn't need to run.
yeah, they're not like really a half court setup team at their best. I don't know.
I slept too late.
For me, my official vote would probably be Connect on the.
That's a really hot take.
No, I don't think so. I think he's probably gonna be the
Get
favorite
the shot.
How is he gonna be the fit?
because he's gonna be the starting two.
What is he?
And he's gonna
What about Austin Reeves?
coach under
Yeah, he's
Ask
not
him
gonna
as
start.
point guard. I don't think
D'Angelo
they're
Russell.
not gonna keep D'Lo.
He just opted in.
He opted in.
Yeah.
They'll trade him. Yeah, but I think he'll start.
You need to play Russell and Connect. I mean Reeves and Connect.
Yeah, they have to.
Reeves is okay at defense. You're gonna get cooked.
Yeah, I think he'll average like 15 probably.
No chance. I would bet that he averages under 10 with you right now, live on the pod.
He's ready. It's all the shots he gets, but yeah.
If he gets injured.
He looks for Reed Shepherd.
Yeah, I just don't think he'll have enough minutes.
Yeah, not this first year defensively it's still there, but I mean Reed was my guy. I always wanted him, but
I might throw some money on Zach Edey, depending on those odds.
But now we have Ron Holland, and that means it's time to support him really hard, guys. He is a Piston. He's repping number 5. I don't know, off the top of my head, I was asking you guys who the last number 5 was. I'm sure it was some bum, but the last 5 I remember was Rodney Stuckey, and he had quite a Pistons career. You know, he really represented that team for a long time. Is there anything you guys want to touch on the draft before, or Tim Hardaway, or trades, or the coaching system? It's important to note James Borrego has taken himself out of that candidate list, so we are not getting James Borrego. Still some big names left. I really like Micah Nori. Really fell in love with him and his passion for the game during that Timberwolves playoff run. Sweeney could make his way back to the Detroit Pistons as a head coach this time. He was the lead assistant under Dwayne Casey for many years. I'm sure we'll see some development in that. Do you guys want to touch on anything with that before we go to Gabe's Guess That Piston?
Zach Edey is 4th in odds for Rookie of the Year,
really?
plus 1,100. And now that I'm looking at him, one more guy, sleeper for Rookie of the Year. He's on a great team. I don't know if he gets the shots, but if he gets the shots, because the guy in front of him is aging out. The guy in front of him is Mike Conley. He's kind of getting old. And once he gets old, Rob Dillingham probably is that.
That's a great call.
Has some good point guard ability, and he's an absolute bucket.
That was I think the steal of the draft.
That was a great move, I thought, by Minnesota.
Yeah, Spurs should not have traded him, but
man, who's that Minnesota GM? Tim Conley, huh?
But like also the Spurs they're gonna have 2 first-round picks from Minnesota probably on their downswing when Victor's in his prime. Sure that's the kind of stuff that like that's where dynasties, like hypothetically dynasties sort of get built.
Yeah.
Like when you're good already and then you have like a good pick.
I didn't really understand that. That's a good point to go at it. Good way to go at it.
Yeah. I'm telling you. Plus 1,800 if anybody wants it.
I think for me, the coaching candidates, I want one of those assistants who was on a championship team the past few years.
Yeah,
Sam Cassell, some guy like that.
I've heard Bickerstaff's name thrown around. I'm done hiring fired coaches who are quote unquote really good. I'm done with that.
And he wasn't even really good. He
Okay.
didn't win coach of the year unlike our other 2 hires.
But let's take I'm so with you. Let's take a swing on an assistant. Cassell, Mike Nori had success. Sweeney had success.
I don't want Sweeney just because he was here before. I want a new.
I would love Mike Nori is my pick. And maybe I'm not the most educated on that. He's got a cool name. He's got a cool style to him. Shall we move on to our final segment here of Guess That Piston before signing off?
Let's do it.
All right, so Guess That Piston. Gabe has a piston that we don't know. We have 10 yes or no questions. Coni and I do between the 2 of us.
You might have to look a few things up if you guys ask me, but yeah, go ahead.
And we're gonna try to guess that piston, and we encourage you guys to play along. And if you ever want to partake, send in some names, interact with us. We really would appreciate it. So without further ado, Gabe, are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Is he white?
Yes.
Oh, narrows it down, baby. Let's go.
Wait, there's one.
Did he play under either Dwayne or Stan Van Gundy?
Yes.
Is he a big?
No.
Is he a guard?
Yes.
That was my first thought, but let's narrow it down.
Did he win a championship on a different team?
That I'll have to look up real quick.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, he has 2 championships.
Is he a point guard?
Yes.
Did he have anger problems?
I don't know. It never stood out.
On the Pistons. I know.
I'm pretty sure.
You're at 8 guesses. So you got 2 more and then a name.
Narrow it down. I don't think maybe it just be a hundred bucks. Did he play understand, man?
Yes. Last guess. Oh, wait, no, you have 2 more now.
Did he play in California?
Yes, shortly.
Oh, that's a bit of a curveball.
Okay, I gotta lock myself out of this.
Stupid train.
It's the unpopular California team. One more guess, Vali?
Was he on our playoff team in 2016?
I want to say he was 16, 17.
So no.
No.
And the year after.
All right, that was your last guess.
Sucked and missed the playoffs and traded for Blake.
That team
What was our guard
biased.
rotation? But we don't need the bigs. What was
Yeah,
our
I
guard
was trying to
rotation?
think of that.
It was
roster.
Reggie. The backup was Ish, wasn't it? Still.
Yeah, that's
I think I know.
You want
No.
You each have a guess, so if you
That
want
was before. Oh shit! I think it's European. I'm thinking Bano, but Bano was before. Was he? Long career, 2 championships. Jose was before. Jose was way before.
You got a guess?
Steve Blake.
No.
Damn.
I guess so.
I'm gonna go Bano Udry.
Correct.
Yes!
Beno Udre, the bleached man bun himself.
Bano Udry.
He won 2 championships with the Spurs. Yeah, probably most well known as a Grizzly, at least for me.
Had I believe he's a head coach now in Europe. Yeah, he was very solid player. Yeah. Man, that was a good one. That was a good one. Always love a guess that Piston. Again, we guys want you to interact with us. We really would love it. And let us know who you would take as the next Pistons head coach. Let us know how you think Ron Holland is gonna do. Maybe Bobby Clintman. If you guys are excited for the summer league, just come and interact with us on social media at Buffs on Pod. You can find us on all platforms. Same for the pod. You guys can find us on all platforms. We really appreciate you guys listening and throw the Buffs on Detroit. The future is bright.